Welcome to another episode of Science Made Simple. I am Miss Isabelle, and I am a science specialist here at the Pique Lab. In this video, we'll be analysing a past year exam question. I've also prepared this question for you to download for free by clicking a link in the description box below. So let's get started. Now let us start by reading this question together. We have 3 blocks labelled R, S, and T that are of the same size and made from the same material. They are coated and are set up as shown in the diagram below. The table below shows statements about the amount of heat energy emitted by the blocks. Which row is correct? Now, the question here is asking us about the amount of heat energy that is being emitted. So what topic do you think this question is asking us? It is on the effects and transmission of heat. Now, in this chapter, we have also learned about 3 methods of heat transfer. So let us try to recall these 3 methods. And we say that there is 2 C's and 1 R. So what is the first C we are referring to? We are referring to conduction. And what is the second C? The second C is convection. And the R, we say that it is radiation. Looking at this question here, let us identify which method of heat transfer we are referring to. Looking at the diagrams, we can see white as well as black blocks. And this reminds us of colors. And which method of heat transfer is related to colors? Color is one of the factors that affects radiation. Now, we have identified that the heat transfer method is radiation. So let us try to recall the 5 factors of radiation. So the first factor we have identified, it is color. Okay, let's say you're going on a field trip. Would you wear a black colored shirt or a white colored shirt? Okay, we would prefer to wear a white colored shirt. And that's because we have learned from primary school that black is a better absorber of heat than white. And also recall that a good absorber is also a good emitter. Now let us try to recall the rest of our factors. If we look in the diagram, we also see smooth as well as rough surfaces. So smooth and rough, what factor does this remind us of? It reminds us of textures. And we have learned in secondary school that rough surfaces is a better emitter of heat than smooth surfaces. Now let's move on to our next factor. We also see that there are different temperatures of blocks given to us. So what is a factor that links us to temperature? It is temperature difference. Whether the object has a large or a small temperature difference. Recall that we have learned that when an object has a large temperature difference, that it will be a better emitter of heat. So what is the other 2 factors that we are missing here? It is luster. Whether an object is dull and the opposite of dull is shiny. And we learned that dull surfaces are better emitter of heat. And lastly, we also have surface area. Whether there is a large or a small surface area. Where an object with a large surface area will be a better emitter. Now with this knowledge, let us look at statement 1. Looking at statement 1, which 2 blocks do we need to compare? We need to compare between blocks R as well as block S. So looking at blocks R and S, we see that R has a white surface, whereas S has a black surface. Previously, we mentioned that black is a better emitter of heat than white. So do you think that black will emit more or less heat than white surfaces? Since it is a better emitter, it will emit more heat than white surfaces. R also has a smooth surface, while S has a rough surface. So previously, we mentioned that rough surfaces are better emitter. So if it is a better emitter, will it emit more or less heat? It will emit more heat. We also notice that both blocks R and S has the same temperature of 80 degrees Celsius, so we do not have to compare their temperature difference. Looking at the arrows, can you now tell me if R emits more or less heat than S? Seeing that we have 2 downward arrows for R, we can conclude that R emits less than S. Therefore, we can place ticks at option 1 and 2 and cross out option 3 and 4. Let us now move on to statement 2. Statement 2 wants us to compare between blocks T as well as block S. So looking above, Both blocks S and T has black and rough surface, but they have different temperatures. Block S has a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius, while block T has a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Which factor are we referring to now? We are referring to the factor of temperature difference. The question did not mention anything about placing the blocks in a hot or cold environment. Therefore, we can assume that these blocks are placed at room temperature. Now in science, what did we say is room temperature? We say that it is 25 degrees Celsius. So let us calculate the temperature difference. Now let us find the difference for block S. To find the difference, we have to take 80 minus room temperature, which is 25 degrees Celsius. And this gives us a value of 55 degrees Celsius. Now let us try to do this for block T. To find the difference, we take 40 minus 25 degrees Celsius, which gives us a value of 15 degrees Celsius. Looking at this, can you tell me if block S or block T has a larger temperature difference? Since 55 is greater than 15, we say that block S has a greater temperature difference. And we've also seen on our left that an object with a large temperature difference will be a greater emitter of heat. So if S is a better emitter of heat, can you tell me if it emits more or less heat? It will emit more heat than T. Now looking at the downwards arrow for T, can you tell me if T emits more or less heat than S? We see that T emits less heat than S. And therefore we can place a tick at option 1, and that gives us our answer of 1. But don't click off just yet. Realize that we did not talk about the last two factors, which are luster as well as surface area. Now if we read the question again, it says that these blocks are of the same size. So if they are the same size, what can we say about surface area? They would also be the same. These blocks are also made from the same material. So what can we say about luster? They are also the same. So therefore, in this question, we did not consider about luster as well as surface area. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Found this video useful? Give us a thumbs up and check out more by clicking the links here. You can also subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Until next time, stay curious inside and limitless outside.